Alrighty guys, welcome back to another one. This time, we're going to do a breakdown on Winchester's 3.5-inch Xpert high steel shot. And this is the 1.25 ounce, rated at 1625 FPS 2-shot version. And just because, the snooze I'm using today is Göteborg's Rapia. It is juniper and lavender flavor. Old classic, this one's actually really good. But let's get into this. So, once again, Winchester Super X Xpert High Velocity Steel Shot. 12 gauge, 3.5-inch, 1625 FPS, 1.25 ounce of 2-shot. Monster of a duck load right here. Here's the top of the box. Lead-free shot. This being steel, of course, it's lead-free. Side of the box, it's just warnings. Back of the box, this shows some pretty good stuff. If you want to read anything, just pause it. Here's what the shell looks like, cut open on the back of the box. Looks like we have some sort of orange wad in it. It's not a longbeard wad. At least this is showing it's not a longbeard wad. We'll find out whenever we open it up though. Other side of the box, geese, duck large and duck small. I guess this is a recommended shot size and gauge for the respective size of the birds, I guess. I don't know. And what choke you should be using. 10, 12, and 20 gauge. No 16 gauge included, even though you can obviously get 16 gauge steel shot. Kind of weird there. And the bottom of the box is the same as the top. Regular Winchester Super X box, nothing interesting, all that interesting on the box itself, but looks alright nonetheless. If you guys didn't know this, the Super X actually used to be Western branded. You don't really see Western ammo anymore, it's Winchester now. And here's our candlestick. That is a 3.5-inch shell, no doubt about that. And I think Winchester actually uses full-length 3.5-inch shells for their 12-gauge loads. Their 10-gauge load is, those are 2 3/8 inch, I think. They're not quite full 3.5, which is odd, but it is what it is. We have a high brass, which again is steel, head on this. Regular Winchester 209A. But guys, we have a beautiful crimp on it. It's kind of weird how they use the heat sealant crimp method on their turkey shells, but not their waterfowl shells. You'd think it would be the other way around. Like you think these would have the sealant being a waterfowl shell to prevent moisture and whatever else getting in it. But no, we can actually see a steel shot pellet in there. The wind did just kick up, so if you can hear it, I apologize. But Super X Xpert high velocity steel shot. We have our specs once again. Same thing as the box says, to be honest. But there's our shell. Really nice crimp. And yes, I know, we've been doing a lot of Winchester lately, but that's because we have a lot of Winchester ammo. It has consistently been more available than Federal and Remington ever since, you know, the whole 2020 and the present mess has went on. But yeah, Winchester has been a lot more available than those. We never really had a problem getting any Winchester. But I'll be opening this shell up the same way I always do, with needle nose pliers to pry up the crimp, and then wire cutters to flare the crimp out so we can dump the shot and pull the wad. So we have 2.465, I don't know, the wind's messing with it, but yeah, right at 1.25 ounces of shot. Now it's saying, you see it, it's 125 even there. I don't know guys, the wind's playing with it, but obviously we do have an 1.25 ounce payload in here, and that is some really good looking shot. It is not plated. It looks just like the number 3 shot I have, but this is number 2. Really nice and round. No deformities, no pitting, no rust. Just good old unplated steel shot. One of the reasons I wanted to do this one is because you guys seen the Winchester steel shot game loads. I forgot what those were called, but they were 6.5 shot size in 2 3/4 inch. They were just a steel shot target load essentially, and the shot looked like ballast in those. They were all kinds of different sizes. They were deformed, rusty a little bit, lots of pitting, egg-shaped, but this being a legitimate steel shot load that you would use for hunting, Winchester does use very good steel shot in it. No issues here whatsoever. That's some really nice looking shot, to be honest. Now let's see if this is actually a number 2 size pellet. So number 2 shot would be 15 caliber, .150. This is .1440. Not quite a number 2 shot, but is that enough difference to make a difference? I don't think so. This is still number 2 shot in my book. I guarantee you that 60 thousandths of difference right there would make up the difference in the slightly less than 1.25 ounce payload we had. So it looks like we have 44 grains of some mysterious ball powder. There you go. Yep, just looks like a typical ball powder from Winchester. Looks like the same powder me and Josh use all the time, but it's probably not that powder. So earlier I said that's not a longbeard wad in there. Well, now that I look at it closer, it is. You can see a separate gas seal. It's 2 different colors. One is a little bit more yellow than the other. The top of it is orange on the box. So what I found in the haul was actually a slightly taller, actually quite a bit taller, crush section. And our wad, or shot cup technically, is brown. What's on the box is showing a much shorter gas seal and an orange wad, but colors don't matter. We all know Winchester's shot cup, their longbeard style shot cup, actually is a very good wad, if you want to call it a wad. They tend to pattern really well. It is very thick. You can see we have very thick petals on it. It's actually quite a bit thicker than their longbeard wads. Oops, I dropped it. And it went back together just fine. Didn't even use a press. I just pinched the crimp in with my fingers and then hit it with a Got BN2 crimp finisher. And now the wind kicks up. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. But we have a beautiful taper on it now. No issues at all. Went back together great. But there is Winchester's 1.25 ounce, 3.5 inch steel shot load. Xpert high velocity steel. Very interesting load. This is a pretty light payload for 3.5 inch, but look at that velocity. I can tell you that out of a 5.5 pound single shot H&R, with a 3.5 inch chamber of course, single shot, these kick really, really bad. But that's good in this one here, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.